Well, hello everyone. Welcome to this episode of Ask Reddit, Female Fashion Advice, the 18th Century Edition. I am your host, Abby Cox, and today we are being joined by three experts in 18th century clothing, all the way from the actual 18th century. I know, guys, time travel, it's wild. So if you all at home are not aware of what is currently going on in Reddit, recently they made some changes to their API which deeply affected blind and visually impaired users. As a result of these poor decisions, subreddits, which are run by volunteers, essentially decided to go dark as a form of protest to let Reddit know that their recent changes are not okay. And so as a result, Female Fashion Advice, which currently has 3.5 million members, decided that as a form of malicious compliance to ensure that Reddit doesn't take over their subreddit and basically run it with people who have no idea what's going on, they're going to focus on the fashion of the 1700s only. Delicious malicious compliance. Chaos has ensued. And I figured, why not help these ladies out? Because we have a lot of questions coming up on the subreddit. By bringing our guests and our experts to a panel, I can actually help be of assistance to those ladies who are now diving into the great, wide, wonderful world of 18th century female fashion. We are joined with the incredible, stunning, illustrious Flora.
Good day. My name is Flora. I really enjoy puppies, and I like flowers because my name's Flora, and I really enjoy going on long walks with my sister, and we enjoy smelling flowers, and we enjoy taking our little dogs with us on a walk. I have a little pug, and I named him Mops, just like the Dauphin Marie Antoinette. She is my personal idol. I think she is extremely lovely and quite beautiful and sophisticated, and I hope to be just like her one day.
Next on our panel is Fanny, the laundress, from roughly about 1778. Hi, Fanny. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. And finally on our list, we have Francesca. She is from 1796. Hi, Francesca. Great to have you. Good day, everyone. My name is Frances, and I have been a milliner for the past 20 years, owning my own business as a milliner and my own shop. And I share that space with my friend and co-business owner and roommate, Cora, who is a trained mantua maker as well. So together we create the millinery and mantua making trades where we will serve all of your fashion needs. Wonderful. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about women's fashion. And I'm very happy to be here. Yes, thank you. Now, currently there's a lot of questions on the subreddit. So I went and I mined it for content, as any good content creator does, and I then sent it off to my friends to ask them to pick the best top questions that they would like to see my panel of experts answer.
I don't know if you know this.
Oh, you have something to add, Flora.
But I really enjoy poetry. I like to consider myself a mild poetess. So, for example, if the air isn't there, why would we care? But if you look at my hair, I'm sure I will ensnare your love. I know, I'm very funny.
Well, bless your heart, Flora. That's really precious. Thank you so much for sharing that with the group. That's great. I love that for you. All right, now that we've had the groundwork laid out, we have introduced you to our panel of experts. Let's get into the questions, shall we? Going to the opera this weekend with my betrothed, and a wench who lifted her skirts to reveal her ankle to him will be there. I fully intend to slip off my glove and slap her in the face with it. Which glove is best for opera and slapping? All right, so I think probably out of our panel, the best person to answer this question will be Flora. Flora, what do you have to say to this young lady and her question?
Well, I'm a little confused about the term bitch slap. Because I've never heard of that term before, and the only context I understand the term bitch is if we're talking about dogs. And I do love dogs, and I don't think that we should be hitting dogs because I find that to be extremely cruel and completely unnecessary. I'll try to focus on the idea of slap because, you know, if someone was trying to come after my man or hurt my dog with a slap, I think the best opera gloves that I would use are the good kid leather kind, the nice thin high quality kind that you get from a quality milliner. And I would buy those, a good longer pair, you know, at least up to here so you can get a good grip on them. And then I would just wind them up and I would just go, hey! Don't you dare touch my dog. Or my man. Yeah.
Vanny, do you have anything to add to that? Yeah, you know, come in and he's this slapper just got a dumb bitch. Yeah, you just gotta get her. Do you guys understand what she's saying? Does anyone understand what she's saying? Francesca, do you have any final thoughts to add to this? As a milliner, obviously, you are the one who would be selling these gloves, so I'm sure, you know, you've had similar questions brought to you. I would have to agree that a nice pair of kid leather gloves of a decent length to have a grip on them would do the job quite well. We do actually sell a great deal of gloves in the millinery shop. You can also buy them from Glovers. They, of course, are made in London and often imported. You can buy them in different sizes to fit your needs and your hand size and your wants. Hello, it is time for our sponsor break, and the sponsor of this week's video is actually Birch Mattress. Now, if you're not familiar with Birch, they are a fantastic natural and organic mattress company that I've been working with now for technically years at this point. In fact, I actually have two of their mattresses. I have their classic mattress, which is in my guest room, which is the one we're currently sitting on at the moment, and then I also have their Birch Luxe mattress in my bedroom, which is their slightly higher end model with all sorts of organic cashmere and wool and just delicious components that just, oh, they're so nice. My mom comes up and visits a lot, and so she this room is basically kind of like my mom's room, and so she always gets to sleep on the Birch mattress, and whenever she's up here visiting, she's always raving about the mattress, how well she sleeps, how comfortable it is, how her back doesn't hurt because she's got a little bit of arthritis in her back. So when Birch reached out to me about working with them again, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be really nice if they could possibly send my mom a mattress? And I asked, and they were super excited to do that because they were thrilled to hear how much she actually loves the Birch mattress. The thing is, it's like, not only is the mattress comfortable, not only is it just a great mattress to sleep on, it's also safe to sleep on. It is not made up of any harsh polyurethane chemicals or foams. It has no fiberglass in it, and I don't know if you all have been a part of fiberglass bed TikTok. I was on that nightmare for a while. Oh my gosh, terrifying. But Birch is also Green Guard certified, GOTS certified, Fair Trade, and Forest Stewardship Council certified. If you would like to give Birch Mattress a try, go ahead and use my link in the description below, and that will get you 20% off your Birch mattress plus 2 of their Eco Rust pillows, which are actually made out of recycled water bottles, which is pretty cool if you think about it. And you'll also get a 100-night sleep trial because obviously mattresses are unique to the body and you need to make sure that they're comfortable and that the mattress you're going to be sleeping on for years at a time is going to be the right mattress for you. And they also have a 25-year warranty. Plus, they deliver it directly to your door for free if you're in the US. And also, if you need a setup and removal service, they do offer that as well. Go ahead and use that link in the description below, get 20% off, and you too can have a fantastic night's rest thanks to Birch Mattress. And with that, a huge thank you to Birch for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to that 18th century chaos. Woo! Might I request advice upon the current fashion trends in the new world? I and my roommate are fleeing that horrid business in France. A lady cannot wear a hat if she lacks a head, after all. What clothing should we purchase in the preparation for this journey? Francis, I think, obviously, as someone from the 1790s as well, who also lives with a very good friend, I would love to hear what you have to say about this. This is an excellent question, and as someone who's been in a very similar situation as the person writing in, I can sympathize and empathize with their query. Since it is the 1790s, we are very fortunate in that our clothing has gotten a lot of adjustability. These drawstring front gowns allow a lot of room, and our stays are starting to transition to a much more softer shape, the natural chest shape versus the hard conical rigid shape that we see in Flora as well as in Fanny. Now, depending on where you're going, you need to be aware of the climate. Also, sailing across the ocean is going to be quite difficult, and it depends on what time of year we're discussing. However, if you wish to have something fashionable, you can never go wrong with a good quality cotton muslin, especially in this day and age. It is very, very fashionable, and you can layer different aspects of your ensemble on top of it. So add a bit of pop of color with a sash, or maybe you will want to add a little waistcoat to go on top of it, or some sort of open robe to help decorate it up and make it a little bit more fashion forward. Now, you'll also need a cloak because when you're traveling across the ocean, you're going to obviously be in a very damp environment, and having a good woolen cloak will keep you very comfortable during your journey, and honestly, you can never go wrong with a red woolen cloak. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Francesca. Thank you, Frances.
Yes, I have something to add.
You have something to add, Flora.
I'm very confused.
Flora,
If you wish to dress for a French Revolution, then you really must be the most fashionable, because the French are the most fashionable people in the entire world, and all of fashion comes from France. And so if we wish to look our utmost best, no matter the situation, no matter the cost, no matter the difficulty, then we must always look towards the French, specifically Marie Antoinette. Because that's actually her responsibility as the Dauphine of France, not the Dauphin, but the Dauphine of France. I'm just now learning French, as you know, so I'm practicing. Bonjour. Je m'appelle Flora. See, I'm practicing my French. Anyways, as I was saying about the French Revolution, if you're going to be in France and you're going to be revolutionizing, then I highly recommend that you look to the fashions of France, because they are the most fashionable, and all of fashion comes from France. And in fact, even here in the colonies, you know, as my friend Betty, even though she makes fun of us saying that we're nothing but new money and that we don't understand how fashion works, I like to know what's happening in France, and I like to keep up with the French fashions, because I take a lot of pride in being the most fashionable and being of French fashion, because it has that certain je ne sais quoi to it that I just find most beautiful and becoming to all ladies. So that's what I would say, is just, if you're in France, follow French fashions. I really hope that was helpful. I'm doing my very best.
Well, bless your heart, Flora. That's really precious. Thank you so much for sharing that with the group. Fanny, I would actually love to hear what your thoughts are. Obviously, you've seen what's happened in the American Revolution, and now it's spilled over into France. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of thing they're gonna get in here, and the rich, and then they just eat everything, and then what are we supposed to do? And so we're just gonna have to sit there, we're gonna have to put them down like that, and then you're gonna mush them up, and you're gonna slap them like this, and then you're just gonna.
Dang. Okay. I'm loving the look of the pet and lair for casual dishabille around the house. However, I find the name so off-putting. As a lady, I never engage in the activity implied by the name of the garment. Does this mean that the pet and lair is inappropriate for a lady, or is anyone aware of any alternative names for said garment? I don't want to give the wrong impression.
Excuse me, Abby. I know the answer to this.
Flora, I would love to know your thoughts, as you are currently wearing a sack gown.
I am wearing a sack gown, and I do know the answer to this. Okay, so I read it in a book once that apparently one day Madame de Pompadour, she was going out riding, and she invented the style of the pet and lair. And she was going out riding with a lady who was basically a servant, and the servant, oh my gosh, you will never believe it, but the servant, she made wind. No, she made wind on the horse, and Madame Pompadour, she found it quite hysterically funny, and so she was like, that is what we will name the pet and lair. So I find it really difficult to find the name pet and lair offensive to anybody or scandalous or shocking, since Madame de Pompadour is of the utmost sophisticated taste. Is she dead? I don't know if she's dead or not. And if she calls it a pet and lair, then I don't see why anyone else couldn't call it a pet and lair. It only is logical, don't you think? But if the lady writing in with her query still is uncomfortable with the term pet and lair, then I suggest she can use the harsher, uglier version in English called the short sack. Because while I am wearing a robe à la française, in English, everyone likes to call this a sack gown. I don't understand why. It makes me feel like I actually am in a potato sack, but that's the term they use.
Well, I didn't know you were such a reader, Flora. I didn't know you could do that.
I'm so excited that I got that question right. I cannot wait to let my mother and father know how helpful I was, because sometimes they say all I have up there is feathers. And I go, Mama and Papa, I've never actually put feathers in my hair. I know it's starting to become the fashion, but we haven't received any ostrich feathers into the millinery shops yet. So how can I have feathers in my head if I don't have any? It's just quite silly. I have flowers because my name is Flora.
Dressing in black when one is not a widowed lady. My dearest friend, I wish to dress as a widow even though I am not one, and I genuinely love my husband. Word from London has traveled to our remote village about society lady named Vanessa Ives who is unmarried and dresses merely in black. She is apparently the talk of the town, and I even saw her in a weekly magazine once. She looks like a character from those penny dreadfuls that you can buy on the street. Can anyone please advise me how to dress like Miss Ives without invoking a scandal? Sincerely yours, a desperate country lady.
Who is this Vanessa Ives? I've never heard of her before, and I know everyone who's in society.
Yeah, I know you guys don't know who Vanessa Ives is. So Vanessa Ives, she is a fictional character in a story that we have nowadays that takes place about 100 years after you all. It's disappointing that population of your century don't seem to understand that our century of the 18th century, the 1700s, is completely and fundamentally different than the centuries before and after ours. I'm sorry, I don't ask the questions. I'm just, it's fine. It's fine. I'm happy to be of service. It's not like we can't answer the questions, just the context given within the questions is a bit confusing to say the least. I'm so sorry about that. I know that's really kind of awkward. It's happened a couple times now. But yes, so fashionable dark colors. While for most of our century, yes, we do prefer lighter, brighter colors and a lot of color and a great deal of color put together. That doesn't mean that one cannot evoke a sense of macabre, if you will. One of my personal favorite gowns that I've ever seen in my entire life was this beautiful piece that was worn in the 1760s that was of black silk satin and was richly embroidered in polychrome silk threads of all the colors of the rainbow, different flowers all over the gown itself, as well as rainbow colored trim all around her neck, down the front, and on her elbows. Not too dissimilar to what Miss Flora is wearing. Now, if one does have this sense of melancholia and is a bit more macabre in their way of thinking, that you know, there is no judgment by me as your milliner. At least I'm more than happy to do black millinery for you, as well as white millinery for those who are getting married. I think it's one of those things where you don't necessarily have to be just mourning a husband. You could be mourning a sister, a father, a grandparent, a mother, a sibling, a very good friend, a member of the royal family. There are many different people that one could lose that would send one into mourning, or one could choose just to perpetually be in mourning and just to say, I am perpetually in mourning. In fact, Le Chevalier Dion claims that they are always in a black gown and perpetually in mourning because they were apparently the secret wife of Louis XV, which is quite scandalous, I have to say. Fanny, what are your thoughts on dark colors? I mean, does that affect how you do your work?
So that way you can be nice and cool and comfortable. And then sometimes you're gonna want something a little bit more wow on it. And you're just gonna be like, wow, that's really nice. You know, you're just gonna be up in here.
I've been in pursuit of the perfect petticoat. As the warmth of summer embraces us, linen petticoats have caught my fancy. But when the crisp air returns, I long for one wadded with wool to fend off the cold. Ladies, pray tell which petticoats grace your figures this season. Share your preferences, for I am most eager to know. Let's see. Fanny, do you have anything to say about petticoats?
And you're just gonna wash some petticoats down, and you're just gonna sit there and you're just gonna scrub, you know, just gonna roll the petticoats down, and then you're just gonna tie them all around your waist, and you're just gonna pile them all on, because sometimes you get really kind of cold, you know, and then you're just gonna, oh, that's a little chilly, so I'm just gonna put on a couple more petticoats. But you know, I don't have any non-petticoats.
Flora, petticoats. What are your thoughts? Long, short, quilted, silk? Cotton? Well, what do you think?
I love petticoats. I wear them every day. In fact, I always wear at least two. I wear my under petticoat as well as my fashionable petticoat. Currently, my petticoat that I have on, see, I don't know if you can see, but it's pink and it matches my stomacher, and then I have my ivory silk gown over top of that. And this petticoat, it's actually covered in ruffles and covered in flounces, so that way it's extremely fluffy, and that way when I walk, it looks quite beautiful. When it is cold outside, I do often like to wear a silk quilted petticoat because it gets so very chilly in the house, and having a nice quilted petticoat around my legs helps me stay very warm. And then that way, I still look fashionable. You can have quilted petticoats with all sorts of beautiful designs on them, like mermaids and pineapples and squigglies and up and down lines and swirls and whirls and other flowers. I love to have the ones with flowers on them because my name is Flora, and I just think that's extremely witty. And I think the length of the petticoat just sort of depends. as you know, on what your needs are, because I, being a lady, need to have my petticoats at a different length than, say, Fanny does. Because Fanny, she's a laundress and she works very, very hard. And we wouldn't want someone who's working so very hard to trip over themselves, now would we? No, that would be quite terrible, because if she tripped and she fell into boiling water, you know, that could be very uncomfortable and then all of her clothes would get wet. And so she might need shorter petticoats than me. And I'm gonna have petticoats according to the fashionable length of the day. And that if petticoat lengths get shorter, then my petticoat lengths will get shorter to follow the fashion. And if petticoat lengths get longer in fashion, then I will wear longer ones. It just depends on what they're doing in France, because France is obviously the most fashionable place in the entire world. And one day I really hope to be able to go.
Finally, Frances, what do you think? So we do sell quilted petticoats of all sorts of different price ranges. The most inexpensive, being made out of a tammy, will be sold for about 6 shillings 6 pence, or the most luxurious silk satin quilted petticoat can go upwards to 52 shillings 6 pence. So between that price point, there are several different types, different materials, different fabric, different price points for everyone. So regardless, honestly, of your income level, there should be a quilted petticoat for everyone. Okay, well, that was definitely an experience, but I do hope that you all have found this video helpful, informative. That, my friends, if you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to subscribe. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. That helps both me and you when it comes to YouTube, because YouTube likes to know what you like to watch, and so if you like to watch this, you need to give it a thumbs up, basically. And with that, my friends, I will see you all back here next time with another video. Have fun, be chaotic, and I'll see you all back here next time. Bye.
I'm Flora, and I like... Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hi. Hi.
Silva, it's me! Shut up!
I don't think it'll bother me any. Mm.
I have no idea if this is funny. I guess we'll find out.
Do you know, I find air very fascinating, because it's like, how did it get there, you know? I sometimes wonder to myself, if the air wasn't there, would we care?
Back off, bitch. I'll maul you. That's how we handle it in the street. Okay.
Well, sometimes I find myself in bouts of melancholy too, and feeling quite sad. And so when I feel particularly sad, I don't like to wear my pinks, or my ivories, or my sky blues, or my lilacs, or my bright sunny lemon yellows, but sometimes I like to wear goose turd green, because that makes me feel like a representation of how I'm feeling, which is like a turd.